Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today we have a special treat, gorgeous floral themed laser cut ephemera and rub-ons from our friends at 49 and Market. I'm going to move aside the rub-ons for a second so we can take a closer look here. We have laser cuts in 3 collections. We have the Gardenia Floral, Gardenia Butterflies, and Gardenia Leaves. Now these all work together so beautifully, and of course you can mix and match them on your projects. So let's take just a quick peek here. We can start with the Gardenia Floral. Now you can see the designs here on the front of the package, but it's also nice to have a peek at the designs themselves. So I'm just going to open this up. This is one of 2 sheets that are inside the package, and you can see those gorgeous floral images. Now what I love about these is that you've also got a nice variety of sized images in here. So you've got some large elements as focals and some smaller pieces that would work really well as accents. And of course, these are all perforated, so they're really easy to pop out from the backing sheet. So that's one of the collections. You can see that that's just so inspiring and beautiful. I love those colors. Then, of course, with the butterflies, as you can imagine, you've got some gorgeous designs in here. Again, a lot of nice variety of sizes and colors. And then let's come to the leaves here. You can take a look at these absolutely stunning, gorgeous leaf images. And of course, again, they will coordinate beautifully with the other elements in today's webisode. Now, another really nice thing about 49 and Market ephemera sets too. So this is the front package cover of the leaves. If I flip it over, you can see I've got some nice cutout images on here too. And this is true of all of these collections. So you've got some nice extra images that you can work with as well. So those are the ephemera sets. And as you can see, you've also got a really nice value pack in here. So lots and lots of images. Okay, let's go back to the rub-ons. I'm going to bring these back in here and we can take a look there as well. So 2 sets, you've got the Garden Botanical rub-ons and the Gardenia Leaves. Now the leaves, as you can see here on the front, you've got a nice variety again of colors. And these are really simple to add to your projects, great for layering. Each of these sets will have 6 sheets included, and you'll also get an applicator tool. Let's look at the botanicals. Look at how gorgeous that is. So you can use individual elements, you can create clusters, you can make a collage. Again, beautiful layering opportunities here. So these are the rub-on sets. And of course, everything totally coordinates, so it's really easy to use everything together. Now for today's webisode, I'm going to use the Coordinating Spectrum Gardenia collection of cardstock. And this is a 6x8 paper pad that has lots and lots of beautiful color coordinating papers and designs in there that will make a really nice background for my card projects. So as you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I'm really glad you're here. Come play with us. Let's start with this card, which features a gorgeous faux texture background, rub-ons, and a laser cut focal. It's such a simple layout and one you can easily duplicate with just about any of the laser cuts and rub-ons. I'm using images from the Floral and Butterflies Elements packs and rub-ons from both rub-on sets. So here I've simply cut down a piece of the faux texture cardstock slightly smaller than the card front. And I like how this creates a bit of a border around the edges of the card, kind of like a frame, and it provides a nice contrast and lets the white of the card base kind of pick up some of the white and the lighter areas in this patterned paper. Now you can ink the edges for contrast, but in this case I just left them plain. Then I added the leaf rub-ons. You can see them here and here. Rub-ons are such a great way to create additional texture, and I love how they look on this background paper. And they're really easy to use. So let's take a look. I'll bring in one of the sheets in the rub-ons collections. Now you'll notice here when I kind of lift this up that each of these sheets is 2 layers. So you have your top layer where the design is actually printed on, and then you have this backing piece which is just like a liner. Now, when you decide which image you want to transfer, grab a pair of scissors and trim it out from the sheet, keeping both of those layers together. Because the image is printed on here, if you don't keep those two layers together, it's really easy to accidentally put your finger or touch an area where the design is, and then it will transfer onto your hand before you have a chance to transfer it onto your surface. So I've got those two pieces together, and I'm going to figure out where I want my little butterfly to go. Pop him down right here and smooth this piece down. Now I also like to kind of fold up a little corner of that plastic piece so I have almost like a handle to pull off when I need to. So I'm just going to smooth this down with my finger, and then I'm going to use the applicator tool to burnish this. So you'll notice here the applicator tool is pointed. It's got some angles on here, and the angle edge is what I'm going to use to just burnish that design. So I'm just firmly but evenly applying pressure on here to make sure I transfer all of the design. Now you don't need to put a lot of muscle into it, just firm, even pressure. And you don't have to rush with this, it's not going to go anywhere, so no stress. Okay, so I think I've got this all, and now what I'm going to do is grab that folded up piece that I've got there, and I'm slowly going to pull this back. Now I say slowly because if I realize that I haven't transferred something all the way, I can put this back down, come back in with my applicator and burnish it again. So I can do that if I need to. So I'm just going to walk this around here and see if I've gotten it all. I think I have, and there we go. So now I've got my butterfly transferred onto my surface, and you can see how quick and easy that was. Okay, now I'm going to bring back in my card again, and you can see here this little butterfly is also a rub-on which has been applied overlapping this leaf accent. So you can create layers with your rub-ons, and that is also really simple to do. So again, let's take a look here. I've got this gorgeous leaf that I've already rubbed onto this piece of white cardstock, and then I've got this butterfly image, and I'm just going to pull off that liner piece and then maybe overlap this butterfly. Let's see, let's put her like so. There we go. So I'm going to place her down. Again, fold up a little corner of that section, and then just come in here again with the applicator tool and apply this right on top. So here we go. And then same process as before. It looks like I could use another little bit of pressure there. Same pressure as before, and then lift that off. So now I have my butterfly on my leaf cluster. Simple and easy to do. So maybe a bit of a surprise that you can layer up those rub-ons if you want to, but I think it's also another great way to add some additional texture. Okay, so back to the card design. I have spattered this background with some ink, and the ink that I was using here is the Velvet Fawn from Hunky Dory. So this is a dye-based ink, and I just added a little bit of water and spattered that on there. Now I did this after I applied the rub-ons, and because the rub-ons are a non-porous material, they will resist a watery medium. So what you'll want to do if you decide to go that route is make sure you've got a tissue or something you can blot off any of that excess water. But if you want to, you can also apply the rub-on on top of a spattered background. So again, let's take another look here. I've got a piece of plain white cardstock, and I've spattered this with watery Prussian blue. And I'll show you how to do the spattering when we look at another card in a couple of minutes. But for now, let's just take a look at that spattered background. And then let me grab this leaf rub-on. And let's just pop this one down here. Again, smooth down the rub-on. Come in with that applicator tool and just apply some pressure. So the designs have some light and dark areas, so you can kind of play with where you want those to go, where you want the shadows and the light areas to be, where you may want some of the spatters to show through. You don't have to worry about the words on here. Those are not part of the Revon set, so they won't accidentally transfer. And let's see how we go on this one. Okay, I'm going to lift this up. Got another little bit down here to do. And gently pull this back. This is a larger size design, so again, I want to be careful that I've got all of those areas on here transferred. And there we go. So now you can see some of the spatter marks behind some of the light and dark areas on that beautiful leaf Revon. So lots of ways that you can play with your layering using those rub-ons and using other kinds of medium too. Okay, again, we're going back to the card. Now, my card focal is this beautiful embellishment from the Florals set, and I added this with foam tape, and then the butterfly here is a separate image, also layered with foam tape. Then my card message down here is from the Grateful, Thankful, Blessed Dazzles sticker set. Let me show you one of the sheets here, and you can tell that I've pulled off that backing piece on there so that I can easily pull off the dazzles. But this is a really fun one to use, and that's what I've just popped down here at the bottom. Now that sticker set also has some of these really tiny little hearts, and I've incorporated them here in among the foliage just as a little bit of accent. Then for my card inside, I have another couple of leaf rub-ons. You can see here and here. And then I've also got a dragonfly rub-on as well, plus the botanical and butterfly laser cuts. And the message down here is from another Dazzle set called Sending Smiles, and you can see that set here comes in a variety of different colors, and we'll take another look at those two Dazzle sets too and some other things that you can do to incorporate them into your Gardenia project. This card also features some ink spattering on the background paper, and I really love this technique because it adds a subtle and dimensional effect to the overall card design, and it's a really fun way to use your dye-based inks too. So let me grab my ink pad, and I'm going to get some cardstock here as well. And I've also got my Distress splatter brush and a little bit of water. Now I'm also working onto my craft mat, which is going to be important to protect my work surface and to use as a palette. Okay, so I've got my cardstock where I want to do my spattering, and I'm going with a tone-on-tone look here, this beautiful Prussian blue. If you wanted something a little bit softer, you could definitely use perhaps the Velvet Fawn would be a really nice effect. You could also get some more contrast by using black, but I really love the blue, kind of a tone-on-tone effect. And this technique looks beautiful on pattern paper like the one from 49 and Market that has a kind of a collaged effect to it already. Okay, so my ink pad has a raised bed, which is going to make it easy for me to just apply a little bit of ink right onto my craft mat. Now you don't need to do a whole lot. A little bit will do the trick, especially with a smaller surface of paper. Then I'm just going to dip my Distress splatter brush into some clean water. And I'm going to add the water here to my ink to create a watery wash. Now I will say this works with dye-based inks like the ones from Hunky Dory. It won't work with solvent-based inks like StazOn. You want something that will react with water. So then what I'll do is simply hold my brush over my patterned paper and pull across the bristles. And you can see that beautiful spattering on there. Now I will get a darker color if I don't add so much water to my ink, or I can get a really beautiful soft watery wash that's very pale if I add more water. So you can play with how much water and the intensity of your ink as much as you want to. And it is a really good idea before you do this technique on your beautiful pattern papers to have a go, practice with some scrap cardstock that you may have on hand, and just get a feel for the brush, for the water, and for your inks all together. So then before you use this, just make sure that you let it dry and you're ready to go. Now, as we looked at with the previous card, if you want to add a rub-on onto that spattered background, then you can absolutely do that too. So the choice is up to you for your layering possibilities, which is just a lot of fun. Now back to the card, I applied the floral rub-on here to a piece of white cardstock and then cut it into an oval shape using hot off the presses oval dies. Then I mounted that circle with some foam tape onto a nested scalloped oval and then glued it to the card front where I've got this gorgeous spattered background paper. And again, I trimmed that down slightly smaller than the card front to allow for that white frame to go around the edge. The butterfly laser cuts that we've got on here also added up with foam tape for some dimension. And then I have my dazzle message. Now I have to say, I originally used the black dazzle from the Grateful collection, and it was just a little too stark for me. It's just a bit too much of a contrast. So I placed a gold word, so they come together, you've got a couple of different colors, and I took the gold and I layered it on top of the black, slightly offsetting it so that you've got almost a shadow effect on there. So that's another great way to incorporate your dazzles into your card projects too. You can do a bit of layering on there as well. Then for my card inside, I've got some more spattering just directly onto the inside of the card, and another layered oval with a botanical laser cut and the layered dazzled word blessed. For this card, I am using a lot of those beautiful foliage and butterfly laser cuts for my card focal. Also some of the rub-ons back in here. I had so much fun mixing and matching the different collage elements to create this focal. I have to tell you, it's just so fun and easy to do. And it's a really nice way to create a beautiful card fairly quickly and easily. So let's take a look at the layers. Now we can start with the background here. I've got my card base. I've also trimmed down this really light gray patterned cardstock, slightly smaller than the card front. And then I've added this green postcard to the center. Now remember that the laser cut elements sheets on the front cover of the package, remember on the back side of those you've got lots of cutout elements, including some of the postcards here. So the one I used was the Gardenia leaves collection. You can see where it's chopped off, and it was just down here at the bottom. And I also have to say I noticed this beautiful element up here, really quick and easy to cut out, and that would make a gorgeous background as well. So I have to save that idea for another card. But that's what I've used here, and I inked the edges with Hunky Dory's grayish ink, really to keep it nice and subtle, and then glued that right down onto the front of my card. Now I've also incorporated hot off the presses chicken wire die cuts, using it to create a frame effect. So let me show you this die set. This is a classic. I really like this one. So you're able to create a piece that has a frame around it or no frame, just depends on what you're using. So when you die cut that, you will have a piece that looks like this. And as you can see, it's really easy. Just grab a pair of scissors and you can cut it into snippets and use the snippets to create corners or just accent pieces in lots of different ways on your cards. Now, I do recommend, because this is such fine detail, that you use sticky specs. This is one of my well-loved sheets of sticky specs. These are micro dot adhesives, so all you need to do is just take your piece, place it down here in between those sheets, press it down, and then lift it up, and you've got adhesive on the back of this really detailed element, and it makes it easy and mess-free to glue down onto your paper. So big recommendation. My hands up for the sticky specs, because it makes things so much easier and just saves you a lot of mess. Now I've also got some leaf rub-ons here, and these are just such a versatile element for just about any card focal. They add a really nice touch and can either be subtle or a higher contrast. Then I added some leaf laser cuts in here as well, And then some more layers with a larger leaf. This is up on foam tape, and then also some butterflies up on foam tape too. Now the message is from the Sending Smiles Dazzle set, and that set just comes in handy so much. I think it's going to be one of my new favorites. Then for my card inside, let's open this up, and you can see I have a snippet of that light gray cardstock here, which I've inked with grayish, and then added another little leftover snippet of my chicken wire and a botanical element and a rub-on, little butterfly rub-on here too, and then the word blessed from the Grateful, Thankful, Blessed Dazzle set. Okay, I have one more card to show you, so I'm going to move aside this one and we can take a look here. Now this card is made using the bendy card die, which creates a really fun dimensional design here. You can see these two flaps that overlap together. And let me show you the die. We can take a look at this and see how easily it comes together. So this is the die set. You can see there are 3 elements on here. Of course, hot off the press is always going to give you the diagrams, some instructions, and a project idea. But this is one of my new favorite card designs because it creates something just a little bit different. So let me show you this. These are the pieces as you've cut them out. I like to do them in contrasting paper so that you can see a bit more easily. So you've got your base piece, and then you've got your 2 side flaps on here. Now you'll notice with this larger piece, you've got a tab and you have a slit here. With your background piece, you have a slit right here. And with the smaller one, you have a tab here. On these 2 pieces, you have an edge that can be folded, and that's going to wrap around the back of your background piece. Now what I like to do is, after I get my elements all decorated, tuck this tab in here, glue that to the back, and then make sure that you've got your other piece ready to go, and the 2 will come together like so. That will be the back, and that will be the front. Now when you are sending this to mail, I would recommend that you undo those flaps and then mail it flat like so. And this also says it on the package as well. Now back to my original card, I've used again one of those postcards, and that was from the Gardenia floral collection. So it was a red postcard that I just used from the cutout side, and die cut that piece. It was the perfect size. And I've done my 2 flaps. I've got some layered leaves on here. I've got a rub-on as well as a laser cut. This little postmark is a cutout from the collection, and then I've got my Thankful Dazzle on here. In the center, I've got a big, beautiful floral element. This is one of the laser cuts. Got some leaves on here too, just kind of tucked behind there, and I've mounted that portion up onto just a plain white oval die cut to provide a little bit of contrast there. So again, a really fun and different way to present a greeting card to someone, and a lot of fun to create as well. That is our final card project of the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at 49 and Market, as always, for their gorgeous collection. And a big thank you to you for joining me today. We're so glad that you're here, and we're really happy that you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. There you'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It does help people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.